Howdy, folks. Before we get into today, I just want to offer you a huge thank you for constantly coming back and listening to the shows and the episodes. We're now 268 into the podcast. I've done hundreds of videos over on my YouTube channel in short form content, and collectively on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube, wherever you choose to listen to your podcasts, we're averaging around about 4,000 to 6,000 listens consistently every single month. And that's a huge amount of people. And I don't take it lightly that you choose to have me in your ears or watching me on YouTube. And I just want to be massively grateful to you for taking the time out of your day. So today is all about leads to lifestyle, building better business. Now, if you've come on this journey with me of building a business and generating leads, increasing sales, maximizing profit, all the things that I've spoken to you about over the last few weeks and years to help you build a better business, you'll know that I try and be real, open and honest and raw with what's working, what's not working in my businesses. So a really short, quick recap. I went self-employed in 2006 and I said to my dad, as long as I can generate leads, I'll be able to build a business. I let my best mate buy in 2009, bought him out in 2011. We built a team too quick. I got rid of everybody. I carried on building a team up until 2014, realized that I was still buying leads, doing zero marketing, didn't have proper systems, was first in, last out, and built a profitable business in 2015 that I absolutely hated. That kept me trapped, back to work 3 days after my first daughter was born. But I've never hugely sacrificed my lifestyle on this business building journey. Now, when I found my self-employed mortgage niche, I vowed to do everything differently in 2016. I went on a business and marketing and personal development journey. I wrote my book, The Self-Employed Mortgage Guide, my first book. I invested in lots of trainings and coachings and mentors to undid the wrongs that I created in the first 9 years. And in 2019, my industry started asking me for help. How do I generate leads, Gary? How are you doing your videos online? How are you building your systems? How are you recruiting and training your PAs and your admins, etc.? All of the things that I've been sharing with you over the years on this podcast. And that started just as a side hustle, a hobby, a £99 a month membership. And we started doing trainings. And I think at the biggest point of that training in around about 2020, just after the pandemic, we had about 400 modules inside my Pro Academy, as it was then called. During the course of the pandemic, there was more need for more support. I equally had more time, as we all did. So I started running online masterminds, getting in touch with people consistently, for a good 2, 3, 4 hours and taking a real insight into their business and going through that journey on a much deeper level around generating leads, increasing sales and maximizing profit. And I tell you what, some of the results that we've had for our clients are absolutely fantastic. We've helped many advisors go from zero to £100,000 within 10 to 12 months. We've helped other advisors remove themselves from the day-to-day operations, become a real business owner, create a small team that gives them time to do the things that they really want. We've helped many people go from 20, 30, 40 grand a month up to the 100,000 plus point a month by implementing better processes, implementing a clearer strategy, increasing the fees, increasing the protection penetration, all of these cool things that I've developed from my 19 years in the financial services industry and 16 years as a self-employed business owner / multi-business owner. Now, here's the thing. My mum passed away in 2022 and it made me reflect on business completely. For many years, I thought that success was being first in, last out, working hard. And the mentors and coaches that I surround myself with have equally got big businesses, big teams, big incomes, and they sacrifice quite a lot in what I would deem the lifestyle that I want to live. So I always looked at success as being work harder as well as working smarter. But what I come to realize when my business grew after my mum passed away in 2022 was that reflecting on what I actually really wanted, I've always valued time over money. Every decision that I have made since 2016 has been to create more time in my life, to not miss the school plays, to be around for my kids, to have holidays when I want. 2018, I stopped working past 6 p.m. So every night, pretty much, we have sat down as a family with my children and had conversations around the table. And it's a real family moment and family time. I don't work weekends unless I really have to. And in working with my coach, Shari, I have come to the realization hugely over the course of 2023 that I have and always will be a lifestyle business owner first. I remember growing up, sitting down in the evenings, eating dinner on a tray with my parents and just being around that whole family unit and that whole family environment. Now, while my businesses do 7 figures, I could be much, much bigger, or the businesses could be much, much bigger. but I'm not willing to sacrifice the time and autonomy around my lifestyle in order to be able to get there. So through conversation, through many a voice note, many a brain dump to Shari, turning 40 in 2021, the realization of what the hell do I want for my next 40 years have been constantly playing on my mind. And I've been talking to Shari about this, as well as my vision, mission, and values for the world, my businesses, the future, the direction that we're about to embark upon, the realizations that I'd had as a result of losing my mum. And every conversation came back to how I help advisors, self-employed people, financial services professionals, and business owners in my brokerage who are all self-employed, business owners, property investors, to live a better lifestyle, to live a lifestyle that they absolutely love, to achieve more mentally, physically, and financially, because I believe that they work in that order. And through conversation, through talking about the challenges that we've had with £99 a month memberships, or the challenges that are had through coaching and training through Zoom, I'm a huge fan. My knowledge, 16, 17, 18, 19, was generated sitting in a room with real people, sharing ideas, learning on themed sessions, and talking about all of this stuff. What hasn't worked, what has worked, what Shari's seen in the coaching space, working with 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs and business owners, with what I've seen working with hundreds of financial services professionals. All of a sudden, in a conversation with Shari in one of our sessions, the Leads to Lifestyle name came around. And where it comes from is my belief is that lifestyle that you want, albeit £100,000, £200,000 a year personal income, is dictated by the number of leads that you generate in your business, because you start with a profit first mentality. You work out what the expenses are, you build in your turnover, you build in your sales to allow for any losses, and then you reverse engineer that into how do we get the number of booked calls on the front end to achieve that lifestyle goal, that turnover goal within our business. And what goes from the leads to the lifestyle is building better business. Because on that journey of generating leads, you've got to increase sales. There's going to be sales, there's going to be strategy, there's going to be team, there's going to be systems, there's going to be KPIs, there's going to be multiple different steps that you have to go through on that journey to getting to your dream ideal lifestyle. Hey team, just cutting in because I've got something for you that's going to help you hugely to understand how to attract your ideal client and increase your sales. I've put together the lead generation analyzer. It is 25 questions that when you answer, at the very end, it will give you a score in 5 key areas: gaining clarity on your niche, social media marketing, content marketing, marketing techniques, and sales, exactly as I talk about in the lead generation guide. So if you want to attract more of your ideal client and want to increase your sales and know the areas in marketing that you need to be working on next, then make sure you click the link in the show notes now and take the lead generation scorecard. So in sitting down and saying, right, what helped me to get results? What do my clients actually love? What have they came back to me with the best possible feedback in terms of how can we help you get the best results? There's a few key things that are needed. Number 1 is regular in-person training, themed sessions with specific outcomes on what I now call the business blueprint, which I've spoken to you before in a podcast episode called the 12-month business strategy. And this also comes from looking at my 16 years in business. How did we manage to grow 50% turnover and profit whilst I barely worked in the business in 2022 because of my personal circumstances and situation? How do you get your team to be more in control and more autonomous to the direction and the growth of the business? So if you listen to that 12-month strategy episode, it will walk you through my business blueprint. But I sat down and actually looked at a proper journey of, once we're generating the leads, how do we increase the sales? How do we actually maximize the profit? And it needs to be in a room specifically as laid out in the 12-month strategy plan. But it's not just about hearing from me, because you need to hear the same thing multiple times in order for it to be able to resonate. So each one of our monthly themed sessions has a guest expert and mentor that's been pivotal to my life to help you with your life and business. But in knowing that in week 1 and week 2 of the month that we have those specific themed sessions, what happens if you don't do the work during that course of that session? I break the sessions down into me doing a session, a mentor doing a session, after lunch implementation and action, so you don't just leave with notes on the phone. And the last part is then roundtable masterminding to solve any problems and challenges that anybody has. 2 weeks later, in week 3 and week 4, we have a coach who does one-to-one accountability. Because if you don't complete everything that's done in that first couple of weeks, some people are walkers, runners, sprinters, and joggers. So there's different levels of support that's needed for different types of people, which is why we have one-to-one accountability coaching. But just because we're working on something in that particular themed month doesn't mean that we neglect the other 12 plus areas that there are in business growth and during our building better business. Now, if you've got a challenge in a specific area, that's where you get access to my team to help you put those things into practice in your business to stop you being a red. We use a traffic light system, a red where you're not moving. If you're amber, it means that you need help, and that's when you have to reach out to us. If you're green, you're good, and you're constantly going and moving forward. And it's focusing on progress over perfection. It's looking at where am I now and what's just the one step that I need to take in order to be able to move that needle forward. We focus hugely on marginal gains and continual development improvement. Some people are able to sacrifice more time than others. Some people are able to give more time than others. You may have a huge empire builder mindset of building an 8-figure empire, where somebody else may only have an idea to build a mid 6-figure business. Both are absolutely fine. The journey to get there is exactly the same. The process that you go through is exactly the same. The blueprint might be slightly different because one is bigger than the other, but we're here to hold hands and walk through that journey to help you get there in the shortest possible time span. So yes, we meet in person. Yes, we have one-to-one support. Yes, you get access to my team to make sure that you're always in a green and moving forward. We also then have different sessions provided by what you need at the time when you need it most. We've literally built this program so that everybody finishes the race. It's one of the things that I'm really passionate about from all the training and coaching that I've done is seeing everybody finish. Most training companies, most providers rely on the 5% who do the work, the sprinters, and there'll be a few runners that come in a little bit afterwards. But nobody really caters for the walkers and the joggers. Now, I look at this is a 2, 3, 4, 5-year journey for some. I'm in business for the next 40 plus years. This is a constant growth mindset. I'm going to continue to keep learning. I'm going to continue to keep investing in myself, and I'm going to be continuing to impart that knowledge on others. But if you constantly hop and jump from coach to mentor to trainer, expecting that being in the room is what's going to get you the result, that's not going to work. It's like the notes on a page. Act is the first part of action. You have to actually implement and do the work, and that is what gets results. And that's why it leads to lifestyle is a focus around the 4 key phases I spoke about in the 12-month strategy podcast, which is we design the life and the business that you want. Once we know exactly what that looks like in a financial basis with the right business model, we can build the foundations to help you achieve it in your team, in your branding, and in your processes and in your systems. That is 2 key phases that nobody does when you first start out in business. You have to get these 2 right. And that's what enables us to hold you accountable, because every decision then gets you one step closer or it doesn't. And the last 2 parts, the build phase, is where we look at your marketing, your sales, and your automated lead generation, your client acquisition strategy. And the last part, optimization, is where we look at where we need to leverage your day, what data and KPIs we've got, and how we can go after reviewing the full strategy and also implementing new strategic partnerships. And that becomes a virtuous cycle and a virtuous loop of moving from build to optimize, build to optimize. And it's build, optimize, review, design foundations, back to build and optimize until you get to that end goal of having more time than you've ever realistically wanted, with the money in the bank that you want personally, so you can sit your life on the beach if you want to. You can only work 1 day per week if you want to. You can start other businesses if you want to. This is how I have continued to grow. This is how my team are really aligned to implement the strategy and the blueprint that I have created. And you need to do the same in your business if you want to create more time to do the things that you want with who you want, whilst earning money that you really want to achieve. So that is what Leads to Lifestyle is all about. It's about building a better business, and it's helping you to achieve more. Your definition of success, only your definition, without comparison and without the stress and frustration of trying to figure it all out on your own. So if you are interested in learning more about Leads to Lifestyle in 2023, which is where we are today, we only run this annually. We kick off in September. So we have a very short window where we are accepting applications for people who want to come on that journey. It is a decent investment, but it's capped to a number of 40 people because it's really important for me to know 40 people's names. I can't have 100 in a room because I take too much personal responsibility to the outcome and results that you get. And I can't know 100 people's names. I can't know the ins ins and outs of 100 people's different businesses. But with a group of 40 plus my team, we can be a business partner. We can be almost like non-executive directors to help you to get to the results that you realistically want. So if you want to find out more about that, you can comment below if you're watching on YouTube, or you can come and hit me up on any of my social media channels and just message me LTL or Leads to Lifestyle. I want to know more, and I can point you in the direction of how you can get even more information, and I can walk you through that strategy in a much, much deeper level. So thanks very much indeed for tuning in. That has been what feels like at this point in time my life's work. And I know that sounds really deep, but when I started out in business in 2006, when I got to 2015, I really wanted to make sure that self-employed business owners, entrepreneurs, and property investors didn't get the no that I did from my bank when I wanted to move my family into its dream home. As my knowledge grew in 2019, 2020, that expanded and grew to wanting to make sure that advisors mostly, but self-employed people and business owners didn't end up building a business like I did for 10 years that kept them mentally, emotionally, financially trapped because of how the business model was. And I've really come to realize, now coming out the back end of the pandemic, going through the life-changing circumstances of losing my mum, that this really is my vision, mission, and values, to see business owners really build a business, an income, and a lifestyle that they absolutely love. And Leads to Lifestyle is exactly how we are going to do that. So I'd love you to come on that journey with us. We've only got a handful of spaces left now because I was meant to launch this in July and I ended up launching it in March, and we've already welcomed in excess of 20 new clients to join my existing clients that I've been working with for a number of years. If you really want to generate a higher income whilst working smarter, working less, earning more, then Leads to Lifestyle is for you. Hit me up on the DMs or hit me up with a comment below with any questions that you might have. Thanks so much indeed for tuning in. Remember, now's the time to become pro.